We're following breaking news out of Iowa. The Hawkeye football team is hit with stiff penalties over tampering violations. The punishments include 4 vacated wins and a year probation. Jacqueline Fernandez joins me live from the alert desk with the details. Jacqueline.
Yes, Dave. Today, the NCAA said they shared an update on violations by Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz and assistant coach John Mayer. In 2022, they had impermissible contact with a student athlete who was still enrolled at another university and did not yet enter the NCAA transfer portal. Now, as a result, Iowa will have to vacate all records in which the student athlete in question participated. Now, the player in question was not named, but ESPN has reported that it was quarterback Cade McNamara. Now, Mayer allegedly arranged for McNamara to speak with Ferentz on the phone, who assured him that he would have a home at Iowa. After that conversation, he entered the transfer portal and days later became an Iowa Hawkeye. The vacated records include 4 Iowa wins in 2023 against Utah State, Iowa State, Western Michigan, and Michigan State. The football program will also be placed on probation for 1 year, in which they'll be subject to strict monitoring. So Coach Ferentz and Mayer already served 1-game suspensions for the tampering violations, and then Ferentz publicly accepted accountability for his actions. Dave?
Yeah, a bit of closure 4 years after the infraction. Jacqueline Fernandez live in studio. Jacqueline, thank you.